Hi, Steve here with my weekly diet update.
Okay, so I lost a couple pounds. I'm down to 246.6 this week, and my body fat percentage is down to 22 again, and that's as low as it's been.
Yeah, and I stuck to my diet pretty well this week, and unfortunately I did miss the gym a couple times because I had to give a friend a ride home from work, and he lived way the heck out in the middle of nowhere on a dairy. So I didn't make it to the gym those nights. It took me like a half hour to get out there. As far as the winter backlog challenge goes, I recently just beat Phantasy Star 2. I think I uploaded me beating that. I know I did. And that was really a great sense of accomplishment, beating that game, Phantasy Star 2. It was so long to me. I hear the game's only 35 hours, but to me it felt like I played it for about 100 hours. I think it was because I was grinding too much, trying to level up because I didn't want to get overwhelmed with the dungeons. And that's the first turn-based Japanese role-playing game I've ever completed. So now that I kind of know how they work, I might go back and play some Final Fantasies or something else. Something better than that. Although I did enjoy it, I thought Phantasy Star 2 had a lot going for it. I haven't been spending too much money lately. I've kind of been on a tight budget. But I have picked up a few little things here and there, so I'll share some of my recent pickups this week. Okay, so I picked up at the Goodwill The Return of the King, the animated movie. I think it's from the early 80s or the late 70s. It's a sequel to that Hobbit cartoon that everyone's familiar with. I usually don't spend more than $1 on a movie, but this is kind of one I wanted to have in my collection. So I got the Return of the King here. At another thrift store, I picked up The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on DVD. It's all sealed, and this was $1. I didn't have that one. You got Evil Dead for $1, the remake. I haven't seen this yet. I hear it's really good. I don't have time to watch stuff like that with little kids around, but one night I'll try to watch it. And then I got Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles for $1, and it's all sealed DVD. I got the new Godzilla movie on Blu-ray from the Goodwill for $1.50. I already had it on DVD, but I couldn't pass up a Blu-ray. My wife and I like to collect the Godzilla movies, so I had to get that. And then when Wifey was out with the girls, she stopped by the Goodwill and they had all kinds of DVDs from some sort of rental box. They just got hundreds of DVDs from a rental box somewhere. So she picked up some movies there. They don't have any cover art or anything. It's just from like a rental box, Express Lane DVDs. But she got Disney's Big Hero 6 for the kids. These were $1 a piece. Disney's The Muppets Most Wanted. And then The Expendables 3. I didn't have that one. I still don't have Expendables 2. I only have Expendables 1 and now Expendables 3. And then the Terminator Genesis. I honestly don't know if this is Blu-ray or DVD. I'll just say it's DVD. Yeah, Terminator Genesis is just a disgrace after watching the original Terminator or Terminator 2, but I did enjoy a few parts of Terminator Genesis. It's the only movie where you're going to see a battle royal between the original Terminator from 1984, the T-1000, the good Terminator from Terminator 2, Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor all have a big battle royal at one part in this movie. And then just today I picked up some 50-cent laser discs. I might trade these with someone or try to sell them, try to get some money for them. These things are so heavy, it costs a lot to ship them. Got Lethal Weapon here for 50 cents. Got Lethal Weapon 2, the laser disc for 50 cents. Lethal Weapon 3, laser disc 50 cents. Got The Rocketeer, laser disc 50 cents. I really like this movie. I've always liked this movie. I think it sort of flopped back in the day. I thought it was a really fun movie. It's really visually nice to look at too. I think it's the director that went on and did the Captain America movie. And then Timothy Dalton's in here, who played James Bond in the 80s. He's one of my favorite actors. He plays the villain in this. I don't know this dude from anything that plays the Rocketeer, but I hear he's Bruce Campbell's cousin. And then Jennifer Connelly here. I've always had a crush on her. And then Romancing the Stone, a good Robert Zemeckis movie. This wasn't really ever one of my favorites, but I enjoy it. And then Van Damme in Lionheart. I love old Van Damme movies. And then The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans. This is a movie I saw with my dad at the drive-in when I was a little kid, and I love this movie. Yeah, this is a really fun action movie with a little bit of comedy. And then Heat. That's a good little action thriller, suspense, crime movie. It's not really one of my favorites, but I had to get it. This was the only one that was 95 cents. All the rest of them were 50 cents. So I got all these. Don't have a Blu-ray player, but I'll end up giving those away or trading them or selling them. And then some video games this week. Boy, I have some good ones this week. NCAA Football 2013 for PlayStation 3. I got that for $1 at the thrift store. Looks like it has the booklet. And it has some sort of online passcode. I doubt that's good anymore. And it has the slip sheet for the cover art, but it's not the original case. It looks like... I just got that because it was $1, and I hear the sports games from the last gen retain their value a little bit more than other sports games. At least I think I remember MC Murr saying that. So I got that. I picked this up with some other stuff, otherwise I probably wouldn't have touched it. And then High Heat Major League Baseball for PlayStation 1. I got that for $1. I probably couldn't get much more for that. It was really clean and nice though. The book is nice and the disc is nice. And I never see PlayStation 1 games anywhere. So anytime I even see something like that, I get excited. And then Rocky for PlayStation 2. I found that for $1 at the thrift store. I don't know if I'm going to keep this and play it, or give it away or trade it. I don't think it's worth anything. I just figured it was in with the DVDs and they were charging $1 for it. They thought it was a DVD, so. And then I got Agent Under Fire 007 for the Xbox. And it's a nice copy with a nice clean booklet, a nice disc. Now that I have this, I have every single James Bond game released on an Xbox system, I believe. So that'll complete my James Bond collection for the Xboxes. I've beaten this game before. I already had it on GameCube. A good first-person shooter, kind of like GoldenEye, and then I think there were some racing levels if I remember correctly. And then one more pickup. I've had this for a long time, but I kind of consider this a new pickup now because they finally updated it to have arcade mode. And this game was just a disgrace when it first came out. I spent $60 on this when it first came out, Street Fighter V. And there was only online and these really sad story modes that were really, really easy and really, really short with only artwork. It was pretty nice artwork, but it didn't have real animation in it. It just seemed really lazy, the single player experience on this. I know most people play these for competition online, and I have to admit I did spend most of my time with Street Fighter 4 online playing against people. But the main reason usually I like to play Street Fighter and other fighting games is I like to play through the arcade mode and then get an ending at the end for each character. And that didn't have this. And now recently the arcade edition patch came out, or arcade edition add-on, whatever you want to call it, came out for this, and now this game is everything I've always wanted it to be. It not only has one arcade mode for Street Fighter V, it has an arcade mode for the original Street Fighter, it has an arcade mode for Street Fighter 2, it has an arcade mode for Street Fighter 3, it has an arcade mode for Street Fighter Alpha, and it has an arcade mode for Street Fighter 4. So you can play through any of those versions of arcade mode and get the original endings from the old games, only the artwork has been redone. Yeah, so that's basically most of the time I spend on fighting games. I just like playing through the tournament or the arcade mode with a character and get the ending. And that's good practice for online mode. Yeah, so this game is finally worth the $60 I paid for it back a year or two ago. I think it was BioPhoenix was saying this is the new Street Fighter Apology Edition, the arcade edition, and it really is. Okay, that's about it for this week. Sorry to make it so boring this week. I'll think of something else fun to do the next weekend. I'm just kind of pressed for time lately, and I haven't had a lot of